get the push, but you might lose the game before then.
Maybe that's when you look back towards the old
and they're off.
builds you get on Miracle.
Yeah,
I know BKB.
Never refuse school to give it.
But
you might have to go tread this game.
is that the way?
Tread's
Radiant on one side,
we
Dire
saw
on
that
the
a
other.
little bit last year, but it's overwhelmingly BOTs now. But I think in this sort of game, you might need something else. I don't know. They have the Wisp.
Yeah, he's gonna have the early help from the Wisp. Like normally we pair the Io and the Tiny together, but Notel we headed up to the top lane. Normally a little bit safer, but you also see the way TNC have moved their lanes around. They push the Dro and the Dazzle with this dual almost try-off lane with a roaming Vengeful Spirit, which puts the Faceless Fleet on the bot lane to start this off. And already OG, they're switching everything up. They bring their 2 supports up to the top lane and leave Moon going up against the Void. And in fact, Notel, he's hunting into the trees to try and find Jimmy. He actually goes to the old school classic Jimmy High Hunter spot up in those trees, but he's not going to find him. Is that his fly? Well, he's trying to body block up Raven.
First blood,
not enough controls,
folks.
actually a kill.
First blood!
The
gods were right to place their trust in
finds
me.
the first blood. They're still chasing down Crit on the top lane. This OG safe lane will survive. A Miracle first blood? If it was already going to be hard enough for time as it is. Oh, the Avalanche Damage too low.
No!
Shadow Wave, one more attack. It actually comes in from Crit to find it. VS makes his way up, looking for the gun on the Notel. He's already pretty low, and Raven, no cold arrows, no gust. He doesn't really have any disable and control of his own, just the damage buff up. So a quick rebuttal kill from OG.
Ogre is the man. He can just bully everyone out of this lane, though. Even all the right Drow Ranger have had enough.
Switching. So Raven comes to the bottom lane. Faces Boy wants to buy a TP scroll and go north. He wants to be matched up against Notel.
I think Notel's one of the best players. His Wisp, Wisp play, I think last year when he played support, just amazed me. He just knows the limit of this combination very well.
From the goddess. It's an under-leveled Ember Spirit because you gave away First Blood. You're a full level, almost a full level behind that of the Huskar. And look at this.
Illusion!
Pull the steering arrow stacks, you burn down. You are nowhere near a bottle on this Ember. And the Io was also not capable of rushing the bottle early on. So Crit doesn't have a lot of regeneration in Miracle.
They can always kind of TP the Wisp in, and maybe with a bottle of the Wisp, and a bottle of the Ember. You have like quadruple bottle kind of with the tether. So it can be salvaged, just depends on whether they think the Io will be better suited in that lane. Or they can just stack for him. He can take out some stacks with the lane guard. But yeah, the early lane phase is just an absolute nightmare dealing with Huskar on top of Huskar with Drow Aura.
I wonder if it was the greatest decision as well. Like, why not put the IO Tiny into the mid lane up against Huskar? Have that regeneration, have that root control arrive for OG.
Just maybe thinking that Ember's like just needs the levels a little bit more. They can also stack much easier, I think, with the IOs in the top lane because of that Observer Ward blocking out.
Avalanche from the start, but need to keep that combo going. Ignite really good up against the Faces Void. Don't tell us, looking for a toss back if possible. But he grabs the wrong hero, sends Fly back over towards Crit.
Ooh, that's rough.
Wide to have that chip damage, maybe trigger the south. He goes again. Avalanche, TP support, being phased out now from the Dazzle. As the throw up towards the air, Time walks off the damage, and with a Shadow Wave, don't tell. Surrounded very heavily by creeps and heroes, so cops a lot from Demon.
Value sell right there, though. And TNC want to keep track of the stacking game. I think that's actually why they started off top, just to make sure that like they can invade the jungle very, very easily if they have a free support up on that top lane. Most supports there are in this top area, just realizing that okay, the Wisp and the Tiny and the Ember are gonna need stacks.
Base rune. We saw Demon make the most out of it before. Fly, he's just harassing the Dazzle down.
Oh, they were just waiting for him. Oh, the trap.
Yep.
But they
fall for it.
They had the Observer Ward.
Raven as well. He doesn't. He actually
Guess what's happening to Dire's bottom tower?
Dive for it, but Moon's just happy keeping the throw ranger low on life.
Yeah, and Raven's not actually absorbing the XP from those large camps too, so Moon's gonna get way more from this lane. He's already one full level ahead of Raven because of the lane swap.
Raven still found a decent amount of CS. Obviously, the experience is also like the critical part for a throw ranger. You want that early level 6 that's just going to amplify everything else the Huskar's doing Miracle.
They don't have vision on the high ground, so with cover up nighttime, Miracle can actually farm with decent use level 3 Flame Guard, make sure that he still has a reasonable amount of HP, and I think the CS is actually pretty decent usually. 9 CS versus 25 Huskar. Like Huskar sometimes like shut out the melee mid laner.
Sad situation though when you say 9 CS for a mid laner 5 minutes in is a good thing. And it could have been worse. After that one death was very early on. And Notel continues to farm up. He's already completed up the treads. Looks like they got a bottle over on Crit. 4 levels over on him too. Got to be scared of the time when OG come online with the relocate. Because Moon's also found a lot of levels, OG can look to try to take some fights early on. And in fact, with a double smoke, Crit and Fly, they're headed down south for exactly that, but they may be too late. The VS is roaming around. Moon is like he was right between the fog of war lines. So you can set up if you want to, but Fly will arrive, Crit will join.
Radiant's mid tower could use a hand.
The Ogre need to slow down the VS with a gust from the turret range. They push them back. Cold arrows as well. Zapping their way to land the stun.
Not so fast.
The Iron Shell. There's a shadow. Perfect time. Crit will die. The VS gets back in range of the safety of the T1. Now
By what right?
He will find it for more stuns as Moon makes a break for the tree line. Fly, he needs more damage with the Iron Shell. He's almost got it. Raven needs to run. He's attracted the Great Wave into control. The back is there. And the double
That was all your
It's
idea.
actually so hard to get an Ion Shell.
Well, that was toasty.
It looks like it was the heavy spirit committal.
Wow, that's a matchup that's like nearly impossible to win. That's like an 85, 90 matchup favor in favor of Huskar. But and did you even know that I actually was on the Ogre? I saw it with
It's impossible to see. Like, buff was the only way to look at it.
Yeah, and I think TNC might have actually been caught off guard by that. Like Dazzle ticked down because of that, and now OG with the firm control of the bottom lane, Observer Ward behind the tower, and mid lane. Yeah, this was supposed to be a nightmare matchup. Now the CS is up to 19.
It's still not a dream for Miracle, but it's the fact he could catch up enough
Yeah,
that his net worth is behind by 600. And he's running off the bottom lane on the same side with Raven. 3 heroes from OG. Where's TP4 coming this time around? There's no TP over on Demon. They just let the Ranger die.
Radiant's
OG
bottom
really
tower
takes
seen
advantage
better
of the
days.
strength they've got, aka life sustained.
The Ogre's a really big problem. Maybe like one top lane for them, one bottom lane for them. And now, I guess, kind of won because Miracle already got a return kill. He's actually going for Cuckoo right now.
Not enough damage just yet.
Trouble brewing at Radiant's bottom
The
tower.
Flame Guard do the work.
And TNC's Observer Wards have been wasted. They placed 2 in the middle lane, but Miracle really has not gotten any support and hasn't...
Radiant's bottom tower ain't a pretty sight right now.
On the bottom lane where OG are making all their moves and may just give them free power.
Trouble brewing at Radiant's bottom tower.
Be really aggressive.
Have fun trying to bust down Radiant structures now. Radiant's bottom tower seen better days.
Like Shadow Blade is another item.
Radiant lost one of them bottom towers.
Miracle likes to go Shadow Blade and Blink, so I think No-Tail might do the same thing. I think Silver Edge is incredibly good versus the Huskar. And I think the added burst from the Shadow Blade is also really good at killing a Faceless Void before he can time walk.
Speaking of Huskar, Huskar's roaming over. There's a Radiant Sentry Ward down. There's also a decent stack. He's gonna... Oh, they smoke, and the smoke instantly broke on Fly. So TNC understands the movement was coming from OG under the cover of the smoke. They find their opening. In fact, it's gonna be TNC who finds it on Mooney. Had his surge up. The stun's not lasting long enough.
That level 2 surge paying off. No-Tail trying to go up there.
Cuckoo's finally revealed himself. He was missing from the mid lane, that's what OG was looking for. But the Invis rune that allowed him to stay hidden. And No-Tail is gonna toss him.
Somebody's on a roll. How about
They
that?
turn through him again. And OG, there's a reason why. Team is scared of Raven have Io.
Radiant's mid tower's coming apart.
Io and Tiny. This is it.
I think another thing that might have contributed to Huskar losing the lane.
Radiant's mid tower's getting banged
Level
up.
7, yeah.
Radiant structures must have been fortified.
Level 8, but I think the damage is just incredibly good. You don't really need
Radiant's mid tower could use a hand.
You're versus a hero that shouldn't really be able to get close to you.
Radiant's mid tower ain't doing so good.
Come in earlier. Faceless Boy was in a really good position for a chrono.
Drow strength getting pushed in. Not good.
Definitely not. Especially when Raven's gone for like the heavy stat item build. Like double defense, circlet,
How about that?
maneuver.
Getting this B.
Close the distance of
Strike!
and then actually leaves his spirit underneath the tier 1 tower on the top lane. And that's why ROG is coming.
You are
They
looking
take out
good!
Tier 1.
They've gotten, like, this is
Radiant's
really
top
bad
tower's
team.
hurting.
Like, they have a Drow, they have a Huskar, they were supposed to win probably all 3 lanes, winning 2's fine too, but I believe they lost all 3 of them. And now, like, Miracle
Radiant's top tower is taking hits.
Spirit, and you can actually go back to a normal build now because you're not actually scared of TNC.
Radiant's toughened up their structures.
Third T1
Radiant's
tower,
top tower's in bad shape.
Like on maybe off the back of a good chrono, maybe they can get some kills, but the normal trajectory of taking out
Radiant's
T1,
top
Rosen
tower is
just
taking hits.
And I still can't believe we were looking at the draft from TNC saying, hey, this
Radiant's
could
top
really
tower's in
work.
bad
Miracle
shape.
Getting solo killed early on by the Huskar. The early kills for TNC, things looked like they were working.
Support rotations were really strong, especially from Fly. Like having an early TP at the start, so he went to the top lane and neutralized the threat of Spirit, Dazzle, and then like going to the bottom lane.
Radiant's top tower's hurting.
The Dark Seer was safe, and really added up to OG having a huge lead, 5,000 gold.
Unbelievable. For 11 minutes in, Huskar does have its armlet, so there's a little bit more survivability potentially from Cuckoo coming into the fights. They still haven't found a good use for that Chronosphere. They'll sentry up, look to smoke up. There is no vision for OG. In fact, they've only got one ward on the Radiant side of the river, and that's all the way down on bottom lane. Their best target is Miracle. At the same time, you always assume he's got a spirit right behind him.
Yeah, I don't think Sam wants to go for this. Very high probability of the dodge coming out.
Problem, right? Yeah, your life break in and all of a sudden slide a fist.
Now they're going to have to deal with the threat from Shadowblade on Tiny coming up very soon. Just needs a couple hundred gold. And now, like, all those early observer wards have been taken down, so they can farm up stacks that are easy.
Frame start for OG. They just have to hold at 5,000 advantage. We've seen them in this position before. And where are they going? They actually headed south. They're in front of Roshan, but TNC is very much grouped up looking for a fight on top.
They're just farming. They're okay with farming. The longer this goes, the worse and worse it gets for TNC.
Especially considering Moon is able to hold back this wave with some good iron shells. He's almost got enough full mech recipe in before he's even finished up the head.
The Dire might want to mine their top tower.
Are they gonna let it go? It looks like they're gonna let it go. Miracle's still...
They're waiting.
Dire's top tower, you know the drill. Dire structure's looking fortified.
TNC have any.
There's no sentries. There's no sentries down. They won't understand that No-Tail's right on top. BS is a straight line.
How about that?
Life breaks up. Back break corner. Catching free on the back wall. Gives TNC a chance to cope with a shallow break. Still stand his ground.
That's 4 in a row. 2 down. The Dire best do something about that bottom tower.
That was a really important point where he had an armlet toggle, and I think killed him while he was armlet toggling, and that was just the end of the fight. Like it was a nice break coming out.
Radiant's top tower is in bad shape. One less top tower for the
They've
Radiant.
lost the fight, especially with how far behind they are. Now they have BOTs up on Ember. They can easily split push and just take these minutes. So replay coming out. Drow immediately eliminated from the fight. Not that big of a deal. Then Huskar. Here we see the Brave coming out. Nice.
You thought the chrono might have been enough for Cuckoo to do the work, but Miracle just like a quick jump out, so survivable. The iron shells were racked up as well.
I don't even think it's possible to armor toggle through Flame Guard and Ion Shell. So yeah, I don't think there was any window for to win the fight aside from maybe killing multiple cores during the Chronosphere.
TNC is looking for an opening of their own. They're going to loop around. They're hoping to take out Roshan. This will be very advantageous if they can complete it. And yep, okay, they're slipping in. Moves in the neighborhood, he's going to break the
Radiant's mid tower's coming apart.
They're doing it right under the nose of OG. Servers and sentries plan just in case there's any invis detection.
Radiant's mid tower's getting
The more behind
banged
you get,
up.
the more crazy risk that you take. There are 10,000 gold in the hole. This would be a nice pick-me-up for Cuckoo.
It's crazy to think they don't know. Like, there's no chronosphere, so you wouldn't think at OG that they would slip in with
Radiant done the deed.
However, they're isolated. Three of them
Radiant's
out on
bottom
their
tower
own.
ain't a pretty sight right now.
They'll get a couple of losers, life break. However, Avalanche top, say goodbye to the agency, more than deep.
5 in a row.
And now Cuckoo.
6 in a row. 2 down.
But they're all outside of it. They can move over towards
7 in a row. 3 down.
Not your best effort.
There's none of his series he's up for 1 second. No way to toss him forward, but he'll have his spirit up if he wants to jump towards the face's point. Time walk is up.
My searing
The
jade.
time walk will allow him to get back in range to tier 3. So Miracle will just have to settle for a triple kill.
Only a triple.
Radiant's bottom tower ain't a pretty sight right now.
Any sort of pick-me-up that you might have mustered in the last couple of
Dire's top tower's getting beat down. Someone's dropped out like a kid in school.
And
Trouble brewing at Radiant's bottom
Can't
tower.
climb on 5 right now because they're way too far behind. They also can't push this because
Radiant's bottom tower seems better. There goes Radiant's bottom tower.
Tiny, like no one is really safe to farm out alone. Normally, that's how you would get back in the game. Farm out, you know, try and play around the trees, keep you out when you're with a team. Down the towers, but they cannot do that this game, not without incurring heavy casualties.
All they can do is 5-man and hope they find one hero isolated with that OG. Like, heavy support coming in. You're always going to have 3 heroes, you just hope you don't have 5.
You and
There was support there from OG. TNC are well aware of this because they still have those 2 overlords down, which they put down for Roshan.
Oh god, the blink on the Dark Seer and the Silver Edge Rush from Tiny Huskar is going to be completely useless, grave or no grave.
Sometimes cheese can go off. Why? Oh, Miracle, do you want it? He still doesn't have the battle period completed on this Ember Spirit.
Well, coming in from behind, no tail and crit.
How about that?
It actually is enough. Combine it with the bottle. Miracle, Cuckoo, Shallow Grave, very early on. No chronosphere, still on cooldown for 6 seconds here. Shallow Grave wears off on Huskar.
You have to be careful with the blink initiation, especially with that ward setup. TNC have no idea that there's this deep ward scouting them out. And if they like combo that with a Tiny, it's likely game over from there. TNC, I don't know what they're going to do about this.
The rock in a hard place. It's kind of the same situation OG was in game 1, except a lot earlier in the game. They lost momentum, they lost the lanes. That mid lane was looking really good for Cuckoo, like almost a full level above the Ember, but Miracle waited out perfectly. And
Radiant's top tower's hurt.
Early on, that's his only death of the game. He followed up with 7 kills, 3 assists, no casualties in the top 3 net worths.
Radiant's top tower's taking hits.
Fly gets wind of this huge stack. Probably communicating with his team about how to deal with this best.
It's like, Miracle, have you got your battle period yet?
Nope, and no act on Tiny, so they can't take it out very easily, but they could jump them, maybe waiting for a scan around that moment, but...
Need an observer one on the hill, probably.
Yeah, well, I think they know they're about to take it right now. Draw Ranger with a Dragon Lance. That's
It's already
Well, they can...
Radiant's bottom tower's seen better days.
Due to the split push threat from Tiny.
Yeah, Nortel feeding into that tier 3 tower on the bot lane while almost all of TNC is here, and in fact Cuckoo's abandoned.
I think they might relocate here right now though. Now that Huskar's gone, I think they can just wrap around from the side, but they need vision.
TNC's got the better vision, but in comes Miracle. Still no opening just yet, Nortel. Moved into that cover of the Silver Edge, walking right behind Cuckoo. There's no sentry wars, there's just the towers on the and with the tether, will run in, Avalanche, throwing Cuckoo back out again. It's a good chrono position. He's still waiting.
Dynamite!
Go away!
Radiant's Radiant's top tower's in bad shape.
Mental Spirit will fall as well. Miracle copy too much damage from this Throw Ranger. Very, very low. Faceless Void needs a time lock as well. If you can find this kill over on Crit as the fight will center. They're around the Aegis. The Sleight of Fist. This will actually keep Miracle out of the fight for a little bit longer until Void moves over. Not in range for a punch. It's Crit down south. Miracle up north. He's turning around.
Nothing more.
They shadow away, but they bring down
I know I should respect the dead.
Radiant's mid tower's getting banged up.
Cast no shadow, dark light!
Moon lucky to survive, keeping out a little bit further up on the top lane.
They got just way too antsy right now. The Silver Edge didn't hit on the Huskar, so he actually wasn't gonna die from that unless they saw the supports from coming in. So that was toss him back. Make sure
Mid lane, they go again. The Silver Edge hit into the Faceless Void, and it wasn't the Huskar. And Nortel has to run away. Silver Edge still on cooldown for a little bit longer, but they're trying to go for a quick pop. Didn't find one.
Have we here?
And Ember also didn't respect the gusts of the Feral Ranger. Doesn't have a good way out of that at the moment. It will not for quite some time, and now the TNC have free access to their Ancients. Good way to start.
Easy cleanup. Add more money into the road. They Dragonlance and the Wraith Band on the ground. And that's because it's delivering in a Yasha. Keep in mind that TNC has a big amplification of damage. Miracle looking for an opening in mid. Sentries are down. There's no one invising close. No observer wards as well.
It's hard
And
to
they,
locate
oh
it.
wow, really? Raven flips around the side, almost to his farm. And the final Century case didn't connect from Miracle. The chrono was up in 6 seconds. OG must be careful here. Might almost be working. She doesn't have surge. You've only got Greaves up. Now the tether forward. Grit does have relocate, but a 3-man chrono. Sam hits it.
You guys really
Great finally gets the move one straight up, they move around the Dark Seer wall.
Shaved in searing
Back in
heat.
again. A double searing chain. Tiny comes back in again too. Surged up, Iron Shell into Silver Edge. Where's that? It is going to be enough damage to the Faceless
have learned well.
Peppering OG down.
Wow, what team fight coming out from TNC. That was like one of those chronos that you're afraid, like if you miss, you'll hit 0, but if you hit it, you get 3 of them. That was just what they needed, and perfect gust coming out from the Drow Ranger too. He just waits for Miracle to overextend just a tiny bit.
Dire's mid tower's having technical difficulties. The Dire went and fortified their structures.
And within that 3-second time frame, they were able to kill Miracle twice.
The Dire couldn't hang on to that mid tower.
Yeah, they were 11,000 gold behind, and now it's rapidly approaching the K experience behind. It was just over 12,000 gold. It's up to 8. And the comeback is real for TNC, but it is definitely not in full motion. You've still got a lot of things going the way of OG.
They get a rotation count back at the game. Something that are still kind of working up till that.
Well, Roshan's in 2 minutes. Your split push is going to get better too. Miracle actually finished up his BTs before he finished up his Battle Fury. But it looks like they're going to
Dark light!
and keep TNC looking behind themselves all the time. Life break is not really going to have any effect as Miracle goes all the way back to base. Nortel's also rapidly approaching his Accident Scepter 2 grand away.
Mine!
It's only more stacks for them though. They haven't really had time to stack the Ancients or really stack too many other camps. It's been just a lot of brawling. It's also very useful for the Ember Spirit to accelerate farm towards a Crystallis or whatever it may be after his initial battle fury. Although this game might be better to get Mantis style common item versus the Gust from Drow Ranger if you're scared of dying within a silence, which has happened for multiple times this game.
Dire's top tower, you know the drill. Them Dire buildings are tough as nails for now.
Of this game.
Dire's top tower's gone.
Will fall. But Nortel is down the bottom lane, pressuring the tier 3. TNC must turn back.
I'm more curious as to what the Faceless Void's going to build. He has a fair amount of gold right now, and He has Blads right now, so his options are Diffusal, which is common if you actually need to do damage, but I don't think you need to do damage as the Faces Void this game. He has a Drow Ranger and he has a Huskar. As long as Huskar stays alive, you have all the damage that you need. So your other options are Blink Dagger. You will sometimes see a Shadow Blade to catch out the Ember Spirit, because Blink's much worse than a Shadow Blade, because you want to scout him out, and maybe if he doesn't expect to get his vision, you will get caught out. What else could you see from Faces Void? And you also see Scepter sometimes because of, like, they have to fight around the Chronosphere a lot this game, and they need to enable the Huskar to actually do damage. So, not sure which of the three best for him.
Bro knows exactly what he wants to buy. Hurricane Pike gets completed, already has the S and Y. And a lot of Drows go for more Aghanim Scepters, but this Drow, it's all about the Hurricane Pike.
X Maelstrom is a late in build. Maelstrom's like a decent catch-up item too. Well,
the Spirit Jump from Miracle broke the protocol, so they realized that TNC is moving through the mid lane. Funny thing is, like, you would have broken everybody if they fucked the original plan. Now he's done. The hook thing to keep the flip going, the things coming out. You have to realize what is going on.
Radiant's top tower's courtesy of the Radiant.
Third one didn't see the smoked up TNC going into the pit, and that is another
Radiant's top tower is taking hits.
Onto the Huskar.
No breaking down the Radiant structures like this.
Ember Spirit, they have the DD, but just not
Radiant's
really having
top
any
tower's
vision
hurting.
You can see two smokes.
The Radiant lost the top tower.
There's no ET, no HOD carrier on the side of OG. They just don't have good way to get vision inside pit. Whereas TNC, they just parked the Huskar HOD creep inside of there to make sure that they knew when Roshan was up.
If you're OG, maybe you're not really that sad about that. Like, okay, Aegis will come, but as long as the Ember can get the side lane pushed out, damage is TNC going to do to you. You're farming up nicely across the map. You're still
Radiant's
finding
top tower is taking hits.
items.
I think you're sad from that. Maybe not like gearing up, like, you know,
Yeah.
all groups.
It's not like OG loses and we all have to cry kind of thing.
It's more like they have to commit a lot on the Huskar, because Huskar is like the key hero in this fight. They're going to throw like defensive swaps on his Graves, Weaves, like four step mount, Chrono around him. They're going to do like so many things to Huskar to save him, and you overcommit, and like, you know, they mess up one of his builds, and then he has Aegis, and then he survives, does his round 2 of whatever, you know, nonsense burning spears that Huskar does, then you're going to lose like badly.
You just have to wait it out, you keep all the side lanes pushed out. But TNC hasn't really like claimed OG's jungle. They're still moving through ancients quite easily. Haven't seen the OG farm stop. If you actually look at the gold graph, it's going back down again in favor of OG, even after Roshan goes the way of TNC.
Yeah.
They're just making more out of the map.
They're not farming them for sure, but there's always that like one point in the moment in the fight, like, okay, are they going to actually kill Huskar? And then he might armlet toggle it, Intervit might heal him up through it, he might lifesteal through it, like, he's probably going to build a Satanic later. There's so many things that can go wrong in the fight that Huskar is like, oh crap, he was at 100 HP, he gets Grave, he intervits, and then he armlets up, and then he's suddenly at 1000 HP, and everyone has to turn tail and run. So I think really the key hero for this fight is Darkseer. Darkseer has to be the one to like blink in the back, vacuum the supports, so they can't actually keep their distance away. Like, he is the most important hero, I think, OG. Maybe like...
Spirit, the Catacombs fall, but they still find the kills. This thing is killing Crit. I'm getting a double silence. He understands that no talent's really going to pop anything else on him.
Nota's also a really important hero in this, because he needs to make sure that they all keep like under-farmed, and they retain this network advantage through virtue of pickoffs.
And they're actually going to go through the top. Top picks up a Hyperstone, so increased attack speed to go along with an ag.
Radiant's mid tower could use a hand.
Wave pushing in. The tier 2 towers are going to be the easier target. Double iron shells from Moon. He's already pushed the creep wave onto the tier 2 towers, so yep, no tell.
I don't know if you want to fight into the Huskar Aegis though. You have relocate, but the fight's going to last longer than 12 seconds. And Vengeful Spirit...
Radiant's top tower's in bad shape.
So I don't think they can claim the T2 tower off this, unless Huskar is elsewhere. He doesn't actually have a T2 score right now, so they can easily fight around his lack of mobility. They have Sentry Ward as well to keep track of No-Tail. And they know that Wiz is hiding on the side. I don't know how they're going to approach it though. Looks like Vengeful Spirit maybe like looking for a wave in a swamp. They know exactly where Wisp is in this fight.
That is the reason why they're also sitting behind Raven. Raven is the biggest bait at the moment. The only upside will be... Okay, the crew wave's
Trouble brewing at Radiant's bottom tower.
crit. This will end up saving No Tail. They were prepared for this, but you look down the bottom lane. Miracle is
Radiant's
attacking
bottom
the TNC
tower in a
towers.
pretty
Looking
sight
to
right
help them
now.
out. And the rest of TNC, they're still waiting for Io to return to the top lane. Too early on the gust from Raven.
That's 4 in a row.
Crit will drop, but that bottom tier 3 tower now down to 276.
Now that was
I think they actually should have
cold.
committed
Just
to Chronos here
tomorrow.
in that fight. Like Chrono on the left side, because they knew where he was. He walked right underneath him as a reward and was hiding in the back for quite some time. So you Chronos hear him, you just kill the Tiny, and then you kill the Wisp. Like not that big. The only problem is you have to commit Chronosphere, and you might miss with
Time is
but
money.
I think that would have been a much better plan than what happened. They had no plans to control the IO. Maybe they thought that like he might walk into a Chronosphere or something like that, but Crit was just waiting for that moment. Not worth all that damage on your T3, and on top of that, the Aegis is going to expire. I think you can just use the Aegis
Radiant's
to,
bottom
like,
tower
continue
in a
push
pretty
in
sight
case
right
they
now.
Try and put the Chronosphere down.
20 seconds on it, that's all. Still enough time to do anything. OG is all away from that Aegis. Things. Sentry one on bottom lane. Cuckoo's just far enough away that if No Tail considers it, he could make a run. He actually has the red pretty early on, primarily because the Observer Ward will have a very close look at him. Also note too, that Roshan's going to be a very quick spawn within the first 10 seconds of the 3 potential minutes of Roshan.
And this time the HOD creep is sitting right next to his trusty little party at his side.
All work from OG.
They don't have anyone to relocate in, so this is like they're just waiting for perhaps more people. And Miracle has another double damage, so this next fight could go really poor with the TNC.
He's also finished his Manta. It's coming on Courier.
Oh wow. I don't know, I got so much farm after the Battle Fury.
They gave him space. Like, when was the last time we saw TNC really pressure OG? OG being really moving wherever the hell they want. TNC are only now, like 32 minutes in,
Dire's bottom tower's getting the business. Radiant's mid tower's coming apart. Radiant's mid tower's in trouble.
And then mid lane,
Guess what's happening to Dire's bottom tower? Radiant's mid tower could use a hand.
Unless you want to have heavy damage done to your buildings.
Void perhaps looking for a Chronosphere.
Yes, can't get this time. There's nothing.
Radiant's bottom tower's done
Double
for.
damage work. Man style sends the two illusions back over the bridge. And then spirits away up to the top lane.
Now Demon my thousand they are just
Root was the best. Who tried to turn on the damage. There's too much. This is the problem when OG can bring in so much support so quickly. Creep generation. We're almost impossible to kill Greaves, as well as having a Lotus Orb.
The rune of illusion.
at least on the Huskar. It's not really ideal for him to walk around with the TP scroll if he can have an Aegis in his inventory, but at the same time, now they're getting picked apart by the split push. Like, Tiny does a lot of damage to towers, and Ember does too if he has a double damage. Can't really ignore it anymore, especially with the T3 already down in the bottom lane, on the half HP. Like, the base is kind of in shambles.
You went for me? I'm gonna Blink Dagger for crit. On an IR. Tether is just not enough range for him.
You can do the super long tether, or like the... I'm not sure if that Wisp trick was patched, but you like tether, and then you blink at a specific time, and then you have like a double tether.
Radiant's top tower's in
really
bad
play
shape.
Maybe I'll start once the Arcana gets loaded through, but right now, like, I've seen it done before, but I don't exactly know how it's done with the mechanics. I don't even know if it's still in the game, but I definitely saw it at one point.
We might get a perfect example from crit in just a bit, so we can keep our eyes on him.
Yeah, it's also probably likely to just dodge a Chronosphere or dodge a Huskar ulting at him. They don't really have a good way to stop blinks at the moment. Nothing instantaneous actually on their side.
Radiant's bottom racks.
In 1 second.
It's hurting.
Already TNC. Like, 4-man smoke maneuver through their own jungle, but the fact that creep wave is pushed in to the bottom lane and there is no one defending it has flagged a lot of warning bells.
But there's no Huskar there. They might not expect them. Are TNC really bold enough to fight 4 on 5?
Miracle's bold enough to fight in the bottom lane. He TP down there. Battle against down Dartel.
Look out for fallen rock!
Gets him away! The Searing Chain's holding the Void in position. BS, he'll be able to TP out. Void does actually have a Blink Dagger and he goes to the other side of the cliff face. But this means TNC are a long way away from Roshan, who just spawned up.
At least they'll have the Huskar this time, but they almost caught OG off guard with that, because they certainly did not expect them to fight without the Huskar there. TNC intentionally showed Huskar on the lane so they wouldn't be prepped for a smoke, but crit there to save the day.
Range. I didn't even use the blink dagger for that one. It's close enough anyway.
It might also be like so he can like relocate in and then not get caught by the chronosphere, because like oftentimes you'll see the places would like position the chronosphere around the tiny in such a way that the expected trajectory of the
VS and Dro got caught out. It was only really the Ember who was in any kind of danger. Notel just jumped in business quick.
So now TNC looking for a fight around the Roche pit. They've sent the Hellbear Smasher inside the pit. They will get wind of Fly trying to walk in there. I don't know how they respond to this. They're very far away from the pit.
Right now, Notel's trying to respond by killing off Raven. Walking up to the Dro Ranger. He's too far away, however. He needs to have the Ogre with him so he can toss him over.
Well, they just showed the Tiny, so they don't have enough damage to do Roche without the Tiny. Ember is like probably one of the worst mid at
It's amazing how much money Notel's managed to accumulate. He's almost finished up his, in fact, Courier, once it makes his trip out, he has the full assault cuirass. Very, very big Tiny. We also hit nighttime, so Notel close the distance top lane. There's your avalanche toss. Does not want to battle against Raven, however. Maybe he's just hoping to force a BKB charge out. There's still the 10-second BKB for Dro.
BKBs will not help against the eternal struggle of pushing out their lanes.
It's amazing how much money OG is still getting when the lanes keep booking in. Like TNC, they're farming on lanes, they're not getting anything else. Moon just finished a Scythe of Bugs. Gold advantage is now over 15,000 for OG. Just keeps building and building.
And they don't really have any AoE to clear stacks fast. They don't have the mobility. Huskars even having enough trouble keeping a TP in the middle, let alone using other tools that OG can use to keep on farming. And yeah, as you mentioned, like the network is getting out of control, but there's always still that maybe he was playing.
Maybe OG doesn't find the perfect jump. But now they just don't seem to want to have any jump. They want to pick off like the scraps of the side of TNC. They're not even taking the risk of moving into Roshan. If they go for that, and TNC get a good chronosphere, they lock OG in a clustered area. Dangerous world for OG, and they give TNC a chance to potentially take back momentum to a Huskar and to a Ranger.
At the same time, the Roshan pit could be TNC's downfall. Like there's a chronosphere on the side of the Radiant, but there's also the Darkseer backing wall onto that high ground, and without the Hurricane Pike, maybe or with a Hurricane Pike down, maybe like Jar Ranger might get caught up there. Huskar can definitely get caught up there.
So
Relatively long cooldown on Life Break. I don't know if you can use it twice and that short of a spam.
Let's see what Dro's buying up, and it looks like he's actually going to go for a Skadi. Judging by the old Venom, it's already ahead of north. Demon's also approaching, but he's still another 600 gold away from having a full mech. TNC.
Okay, well, Demon's places strange Tinker Ward on the bottom lane, and it will see Moon, so they know that Moon's just chilling there in the trees.
Can't do much about him, however.
Yeah. Well, actually, they know that the gem's there, because that Sentry just died. Else.
Here with the farming, there's that AC finally purchased. Daedalus on Miracle with another 2.7k, so everyone still item progressing. They've stalled themselves a lot. Still stop from rolling in. Blink Dagger for the Ember. Another AC. This time it's going to come towards the Huskar. He'll have to drop his TP scroll to hold on to this.
TNC have to know that.
Oh! Chrono barely missing! That's a difficult thing to gank an Ember. Normally it's difficult when he's going to Blink Dagger against your Chronosphere, but to also gank Miracle, even more difficult. This guy uses 4 staffs to avoid Chronos.
Well, now with that, it might be OG's time to go. Just waiting for one mistake from TNC.
TNC moving to the top lane. They're trying to fight up here before NoTel and Crit can reply.
Radiant's bottom rags is getting hammered.
And they're actually looking for Crit. Let's just start with NoTel will go invis.
Radiant's bottom rags
lane is
didn't make
under
it.
siege. You can look for these kills up on top lane. If they spend all their time hunting Crit, he can still tether away, which he'll do. Up the hillside, venture next up by Moon. And they will just walk away.
Even with the Observer Ward and the vision on OG, they cannot catch a break.
Why do I feel like we're just having a repeat of game 1? The shoe is on the other foot.
Yeah, that's kind of how this game's going.
Never refuse gold given.
TNC is really feeding him that much. And now it's time for Roshan. So OG has the confidence this time around to take the 50. They have the damage on the top lane. One lane. He's dead for a good 50 seconds. No buyback available. Forced OG fight. Would have been a good time for it as well. Chrono's coming back off cooldown in 10 seconds time. Miracle now has buyback with NoTel. Caught out. They still have swap available, so if they want to hold NoTel in close to the point, Chrono's up. Leap forward. That's definitely a great target to go on, and the relocate is there. Crit will take him back. They know Io is on the return.
I wonder if they're gonna like buy back IO or buy back on Emrys. Oh no!
Wait, swap fly hit. They're looking for more. Bring count fly.
Dire's mid tower could use a little help.
Chrono on the Crit. They're really just committing for one kill.
Dire's mid tower is nothing
they
now.
Get the kill, which they'll be able to do so they get through the tier 2 tower. All three players of OG, but their base
Dire's
is
mid
now
tower
under
won't
attack.
last much longer. No breaking through the Dire
That
structures for
kinda
now.
TNC off, but without Miracle.
Now you're really in trouble.
Once again, and maybe TNC don't want to fight. The blink from NoTel, he gets away, still gusted up. He'll get back to the TNC tower.
Ensnared in fire. So fast.
You got a fear, not to mention Fear Raven. That's damage with a gust, pushing Miracle away. The face is void on 30 life. He'll time walk off the damage.
That's 4 in a row.
NoTel will finally get a kill.
Face the darkness.
Faceless Void dropping. Our TNC players, they have buyback too. But that patience from OG not bringing Miracle back in. Is Husker actually out?
Shade in searing heat. Dire's top. Somebody's getting beat down.
Life break up in 2 seconds time.
The Dire might want to mine their top tower.
This could be huge if they can find him. Kuku, life break, he lost the vision. Miracle got it around the tree line. He'll blink himself down.
Dire's top tower, you know the drill.
These have been some amazing gusts from Raven, though. Always catching the Ember Spirit off guard. And
get low to Radiant's bottom
to
rags.
save their Huskar.
The Dire might want to mine their top tower.
You can see how close they were to winning that fight. The net worth difference maybe not looking as bad as it seems. 15,000 in favor of OG, but all started off with a pick-off on the Ember Spirit, so anything's still possible in this game.
And TNC showing some beautiful class. Even if you had them in your predictions down at number 16, like right now they are showing high-quality Dota neck and neck with a 2-time major winner OG.
Blink after the Aegis really saved them. They tried to time the gust, but he only got silenced. His blink didn't get disabled, and he was able to blink the other side of the fight where Huskar and Drow were not expecting him to be. If he just died a second time as an Aegis, like even if you fight back, like, you're gonna lose that fight in terms of the economic damage.
Money on Kuku. He's looking for the last bit of money to pick up the Reaver, and that will give him his full Satanic. Huskar has already been a bit of a nuisance for OG to get the defiance that you're mentioning as well, Milady. Just that one good shallow grave, the swap out, time for Huskar to survive. Now you add a satanic to it. The damage increase needs to be there for Miracle. It actually looks like he's going for the survivability, moving into a Skadi on him. Unless he's thinking about a side thing. Right now he should be thinking about an escape, which he does do so, all the way back home, away from the gang spot of TNC.
Radiant's bottom rags is getting hammered.
Swamp. They also have a pipe, a bag, like just all these small things that will help them survive.
Radiant's bottom racks,
and these
it's
observer wards
hurting.
from TNC. There's another one on the top lane. We call them the Tinker wards because you just look for the Tinker who hides in the trees. Now they're actually being used to scout out the Io, as he sits a long way back waiting for a relocate save on the core in the lane.
It's also a very common place for Ember Spirits to hide as they're pushing out the lane, and just waiting, and they'll attack, and then they'll slide, and then they'll escape with Remnant or POTs or whatever. So, you know, it's a lot of faces void if you can actually catch him out and make use of him. We saw the one with
Radiant's mid tower's coming apart.
If you don't actually get
Get low to Radiant's bottom rags.
For just that, and you're still going to defend your bottom.
TNC no longer have that underground creep inside the road pit. It's still a couple minutes away, but they actually, it has Satanic, so no way to scout there. I don't know how they're going to approach a Roche pit without knowing when it's going to be up, when OG are taking it, how low the Roshan is.
You need to do the MVP strike. You just buy like multiple health to Dominator, leave him on the couriers back in base, and you can hold on to Dominator.
If only he were that rich. Drow Ranger might actually have to go for HOD. It's, no, Butterfly's pretty good too.
Build a Satanic on him too.
I think to some degree might
Chrono top lane, Miracle caught out. Again, good timing on the gust. Miracle held him.
not respecting the void.
Yeah.
Oh, he got a Shadow Blade, that's why.
It slipped in.
It's like the best item to deal with a split pushing Ember Spirit, because if you're really quick, if he blinks and he chronos, he still has like a small cast point on the Chrono Spear, and then you can like slide into Remnant. But with the Shadow Walk, you can just walk up, and then I think like some of the cast animation happens while you're invisible, and it's just much more difficult to dodge.
Actually still aren't in a bad position. Like, they've always got buyback on the Ember Spirit where Miracle's making these plays. The bottom is still just down to one melee. You've got mid lane and top tower. Like, they're both heavily injured. So it won't take much. In fact, you could just jump in with no telling crit with a simple relocate, and you'll already force TNT to fall back.
It's just a bad precedent to set, though. Like, your Ember Spirits has died twice now. Last time they played that mid fight, that was when OG had Aegis and Cheese. Now they don't have Aegis, they don't have Cheese.
Dire's mid tower is having technical difficulties.
Is he gonna have to
Hope the Dire weren't partial to that mid tower.
They're trying to go for a trade-off. No-Tell's going into the bottom. No, wait!
Dire's mid tower could use a little help. Can't do nothing about Dire's structures right now. Get low to Radiant's bottom rags. Radiant's bottom rags is getting hammered. Radiant's gone and fortified their structures.
This is a big advantage. The fact that TNC didn't take the mid. OG will have the lane equilibrium. Who cares about Rags when he can go for Throne? Because that's what they're coming back in for again. The Iron does have relocate, so Crit can bring No-Tell back at any time. And with Miracle up,
it might be a Throne raid. No-Tell's hitting on
the Dire's mid rags.
Really
it's gone. Radiant's mid tower's getting banged up.
The melee in mid. So at least they get the counter, but then they actually go for the pull out to push back in again. A smoke. They're just looking for an advantage.
Dire's mid rags didn't make it. Dire's top tower's getting beat down.
They traded 1-for-1 rags and an Ember Spirit buyback. So OG heavily underhanded at this point in the game, especially with Roshan with another short respawn, just 15 seconds, and looks like nope.
And I'm loving this observer ward on bottom lane. Once again, the warning from
Dire's top tower's getting beat down.
And the IO moving around, so Tiny under the cover of Shadow move up, they'll find Vengeful Spirit, moving down, Crit was able to find the kill, move backing,
we all owe a life to the fates.
They move over. Tiny is going to be Blink Dagger available. Void will instantly buy back. Even though Chrono is not available, It might make OG think twice.
Oh, how was Moon there so quickly? Man. You had that Greaves, you had the Scythe that just instantly killed the Faceless Void. No saving him from there. Now OG will be the benefactor of the very quick to respawn Roshan and with an Aegis on Miracle. Small danger of losing this game.
This will be TNC's pre-week test. They can't go out and contest Roshan. That's not possible. They have to defend high ground against Aegis.
Roche is tough, but the Dire's tougher
All
still.
the work that they've done for the past 5 minutes, setting up all those wars with the Shadow Blade reveal into the Chronosphere, everything now has been wasted after that.
It's also crazy to think they're played down mid, going for a full GG push, like attacking the tier 4 towers. The hilarious thing is, if they can keep enough alive and win a fight against OG inside their base, they can make a very quick push down mid.
They knew how to make OG panic though. Like they're like, our D4's under attack.
Did we go back and defend this?
That's what they really wanted though. So they're just like, okay, now we just need the one mistake away from ending the game. Like Eversphere getting caught at the edge of his base is not one mistake away because he can still buy back and then, you know, so on and so forth. But they have to force multiple mistakes out from them, and you know, they're one step forward, now one step back.
Now they're really trying to do something about the Shadow Blade. There are 8 sentry wards over on Demon at the moment. Dust just got picked by the Faceless Void. Do not want to be caught with their pants down again.
Let's see, Drow Ranger maxing out on this. They're actually very slot challenged at this point. Huskar, I guess, can still build a Hurricane Pike, but yeah, this is going to be a trial. They try and weather the Aegis.
The lines which are being drawn out right now, like the attack is being drawn down by Fly, but the exact line that we're going to walk on was just drawn out by Demon. They understand exactly where they're moving. Their team will scan up towards the Aegis. They're expecting TNC to be trying to find more money, but right now TNC are waiting patiently inside their base.
And only 4 heroes without buyback at this point. One of them is very important OG, one fairly important TNC. I still think they can win a fight without the Faceless Void, but will require elimination of one of the OG cores.
Mine!
The site's also a little bit problematic. They have like all these defensive items like the pipe and the mech and whatnot, but they don't actually have a Lotus Orb, which is one of the best counters towards the second place. And maybe one of the supports looking to build one, but I don't know if they also need to save a buyback.
They're kind of flat broke at the moment. Demon did enough to let alone looking towards the Vengeful Spirit. She finished the pipe instead.
And like the Scythe is gonna be able to disable them for a long time. Come by that with like a vacuum wall afterwards. And it's a good 5-6 seconds where one of your important cores doesn't lose damage, or Faceless Void just dies if you just get a swap, which you ideally want to save for the Huskar. I don't know, they could pull some slick plays though. I can foresee them like going for like a swap into a Chrono or like a swap into a Gust.
Right now, they Miracle, almost biting. Got an Aegis Immortal, so he doesn't really care that much. He's quite happy to initiate in. He'll always come back, no doubt the sentry for him.
He has BKB, he doesn't feel that scared. Now maybe even going for more shenanigans. BOT2s will be the item of choice for Huskar. Not opting for time, not opting to replace the armlet. So they're probably looking for like something cheeky with the face forward here. BOT onto him as he goes in for a Chronosphere. And you know, you're just looking to put OG in that precarious position where they're one mistake away from losing.
Oh, Nartel. One hit, almost up to kill the tower. Miracle gets it too. Still at 1 HP that tower. Nothing to work with at all.
Radiant disowns that top tower.
All the lanes being pressured. Moon was taking care of the bottom, and TNC, they're going to try and find any kind of opening. They don't have everybody with them, however.
That's 4 in a row. 2 down.
Finding the kill on the T being out crit. Miracle also home safely. That instant buyback comes out from from the Tiny. Crit has relocate, so if they want to, they can just jump to the top lane. Fortification actually wasn't even burnt by TNC.
What a
Time is money.
Sam. This is like one of the most high pressure situations that you're gonna be in as a Faceless Void, and he catches the two important cores. Ember Spirit on one end, Tiny on the other. And IO didn't seem to be close enough to go in for that relocate to save out the Tiny, and they will have to use a buyback. So that's a couple of deaths. They can just wait for Chrono to cool down. They weathered the Aegis, and now TNC back in a position of power.
See if they can hold the line for more time, however, and maybe control Roshan for the next time OG wants to slip over to it. Roshan's going to spawn up in 3.5 minutes, so again, another quick Roshan spawn time.
TNC have to keep their composure, though. They have to make sure that a lot of things don't happen. They have to make sure that observer wards aren't in their base, so OG can't jump them with like even a sneaky relocate. They have to make sure that the lanes aren't pushed out, so they can't backdoor with relocate. They have to make sure that OG doesn't get roached. They have to make sure that Faceless Void doesn't die because he doesn't have buyback, nor does he have gold for the buyback. There's just so many things that could go wrong with TNC. Someone for OG, they have to make sure they don't get caught in Chrono. Most importantly, Tiny. And if like there's an excellent Chrono that like catches the Tiny and the Wisp, it could be a game over. Make sure Ember Spirit doesn't die. A lot of things, but they can play around the Faceless Void. Chrono's really cool. I think that's actually the biggest thing on the side of TNC. He really needs to get a Scepter at this point, or Refresher. Maybe it's probably gotten to the point where Refresher is slightly better than Scepter. Just because of how late it is, and a minute might not even be short enough for that cooldown.
It's just so hard to find him that high level of farm. Where are you going to get it from? Like right now, Husher and Pro Ranger are taking most of the farm, even if they don't really need it. Like, unless you're looking at a Moonshot purchase now from Raven so he can attack even faster, the Courier is making a trip up. I'd like to see what it's going to grab while OG look for a smoke gank. And I see a Demon Edge over on that Courier for Raven.
Rapier?
If he was going to buy a Rapier, would have sold something else. Like, he took his he might just
Speedy rune of haste. That's 4 in a row.
Crit, awfully close.
He has a point and a TP available, yet he's still waiting. What is he waiting for?
Not sure. He has to have a plan of some sort.
Relocates the hero down to himself?
Not sure. Maybe looking for like a Wisdom Collision on someone, but I don't know who would be. No one's really loving it.
Courier Snipe?
Courier Snipe.
That would be interesting to attempt.
Yeah, I think he's actually going to do it.
Demon just put down the Observer Ward, so he doesn't see him, he's not close enough. And the Courier, well, with the creep wave, one attack,
The
two
Radiant's
attack,
Courier
three attack, TP,
didn't make it.
and the Shadow Wave damage. It won't be enough. Courier Snipe is real.
Cargo worth 0, nothing of value was on that Courier. They can easily rebuy one, so not that because I think their cores are almost 600 anyways.
It's just the little things.
Yeah, the mind games. Miracle pressuring the left side. He has Reaper territory for
I think Miracle didn't realize how much damage Kuku can do, even without being low on life.
TNC are lacking so many items that would make it easier for them. Scythe of Ice would be crucial to killing him. Blow the Sword to deal with their own Scythe of Ice, like BKB, Scepter on the Faceless Void. They're lacking a lot of items, but they're playing pretty well despite being at a disadvantaged network. They're still 20k in the hole, but it doesn't feel like it. The Rags count is still even.
That's because TNC, they still have a lot to work with. Big amplifications damage, great team fight control, a lot of sustain that comes from the VS and the Dazzle. All these things they keep using to, like, perfection, and doesn't allow OG to finish it. All I want to see from Miracle is, yeah, there she is! We have ourselves a Rapier! Onto the Ember Spirit. We almost hit the hour mark as TNC. They'll enter the mid. Do they go for a GG?
No breaking through the dire structures for now. 5 in a row. Bonded. 6 in a row. 2 down. That's 4 in a row. Let Dire couldn't hang on to that mid-7 in a row. 3 damn structures must have been fortified.
Wow, look at them cheering in the booth. They have to be so incredibly happy with that win. And net worth does not matter that much anymore. Sam H with the Faces Void hit.